Good morning and welcome to the Recovery Report Live. I'm Matthew Sengsourinh, President of GlobalPro Florida, coming to you today from the Griffin Studio right here at the Nucleus Hub in Coconut Grove. For those of you that don't know, GlobalPro is your insurance coverage expert before, during, and after any loss or damage. The pedigree of our team, the extensive collective experience, and our unwavering advocacy for our policyholders, and the utmost care that we have for our community makes GlobalPro uniquely qualified to represent over 1,400 community associations, hundreds of developers, builders, and contractors, thousands of business owners and homeowners, and dozens of private clients and family offices. We have represented clients all over North America and the Caribbean, and our team, our process, and our experience has resulted in the recovery of over $1.2 billion for our clients. Today, I have an amazing guest who I'll get to in a second for a quick introduction. But again, thank you and welcome back for another episode of the Recovery Report Live. Today, I have the absolute privilege of hosting a very distinguished guest today. I have to say that my guest today, for me, and maybe he doesn't even know this yet, but I'll tell him right now, for me has been an integral person, an integral relationship for my growth and for my introduction and kind of getting my feet on the ground here in Miami, especially in Brickell, and I'm going to get into that today. But my guest has an impressive background. Okay, I broke it down into 3 areas, which we're going to get through and talk about today. But those 3 areas are our business, management and leadership, we'll call it, and then the civic leadership that you are well known for in this area. And so, just a little bit more about your background. I know you as 2 things. One, you're currently serving as the president of the Enterprise Group Corporation. That's your company, Management Consulting. You are also the president of the BHA, the Brickell Homeowners Association. You have active memberships in several organizations that we are also involved in. One of them being CEOMC, the Chief Executive Officers of management companies. We're going to talk about 2 new ones today, which I don't know very much about, but I can't wait to dig into them. The Foreign Policy Research Institute, FPRI, and the Consortium for Housing and Asset Management, SHAM, which again, I don't know those organizations. I'd love to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do there. On the civic side, again, just going back, you're the president of BHA, and you're the president of, which we were just discussing here, a coalition, something that was founded, it sounds like, just before the pandemic. We'll dig into that a little bit as well. And interestingly enough, which you just told me, you are kind of like we are at GlobalPro, Dan and I and everybody here on the team. You're a student of the game. You're a student of life, just in general, and you have several licenses. And you already told me you're going to get some more and continue getting more licenses. But most importantly, you have a 220 license here in the state of Florida. You have an LCAM license here in the state of Florida. We have a 220 license as well at GlobalPro amongst all of our other licenses. But I think that kind of binds us together, just in general. That's where kind of our relationship started. So wanted to highlight that, and then most importantly, again, you take things a step further, and that's what I know you for, and how you approach business and life. And when I was reading your bio, I saw this other program that stood out, which is that you're an auditor. You're an ISO certified internal auditor for the Grants Management Certified Program, GMCP. And that's a DC organization. I read all about it. We're going to get through a little bit about what that means. But basically, you understand and inherently can discuss and I guess review and audit companies or businesses or groups or organizations in general, based on the ISO, the understanding of the ISO 9001, 9001, 2015 standards. So we'll get into that as well. But for everyone that doesn't know Mr. Ernesto Cuesta, I'm lucky enough to have some time to be joined today. So thank you for joining me, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Matt, for inviting me. And it is an honor to be here. Very kind words. But the one thing that I will tell you is that when I grew up, I want to be like you.
No. Thank you, though. When I grew up, I want to be like you. I mean, impressive bio, impressive background. You're a lifelong student, and that's one of the things I really pride our team, Dan and I, we love that. I think we align there and I think that's probably why we have such a good relationship right off the bat. So let's start there a little bit, though, because what's interesting, which I didn't talk about just yet, but we'll start here, your love for aviation. So that's not even on any of the...
I love aviation.
Tell me about it.
Back in the... Actually, the love that I have for aviation started back in 1994. And I started meeting people that were experts in the field. And I got in love. I got in love with airplanes, aircraft. Yeah. And then back in 2001, I got involved into this FAA repair station.
Okay. Wow.
Repairing maintenance repairs and overhaul of components, flight components.
Wow.
Nothing to do with electronics, but everything that had to do with the structure of the airplanes.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, I got into the business at the most difficult time of the industry because 9/11.
Yeah.
I mean, we were inaugurating a beautiful maintenance and repair overhaul FAA repair station
Yeah.
when 50% of our contracts were defense from the Defense Department.
Yeah.
And what happened is that most of those contracts from the Defense Department, all the repairs were done here in Miami. And when the war started in Iraq, then the Defense Department decided that instead of doing those type of repairs in Miami, they will do them at their bases,
Okay.
which it makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Localized on site.
we
yeah.
had to, change the way that we work in our contracts, since we were losing about 50% of our businesses.
Wow.
So we have to reroute ourselves.
Yeah.
Eventually, we end up selling the company,
Well.
but we did it at the right time, at the right place.
Yeah, there was also a lot of consolidation in the industry. I have a Wall Street background, so I remember the timelines. So then you faced the consolidation in the industry after that, and all your big airlines buying up, the commercial big airlines.
And
buying up
some of them,
those.
they claim Chapter 11. We lose some monies,
Yeah.
but at the end, we end up.
Yeah.
We didn't lose our
Good.
credibility. We didn't lose our
Wonderful.
investments, and
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's back it up a little bit more as well. So you were telling me, so originally from Cuba?
I was born in Cuba. I left Cuba when I was very young.
Okay.
I went to Spain. That's where I grew up my adolescence and
Yeah.
a stage of life. And then I came here to the United States. And
Good. And you were how old when you came to the United States?
I was, actually, I used to come here to visit my grandmother.
Oh, good.
A great visionary. She established herself here in the 1940s, a woman.
Oh, wow.
In the 1940s.
Wow.
She actually was like in Cuba what you call here a developer. She used to build houses and
Yeah,
apartments
yeah.
and rent them, and that's what. So anyway, so I
So
used to
real
come
estate's
here.
inherently, it's in your blood, it sounds like.
Capital, investments,
Yeah, yeah,
business.
yeah.
I think that's part of the DNA.
Yeah.
So anyways, I used to come here in the summers and I spent some time with her, and then back in 1976, she decided that I was going to stay here in the United States.
Yeah. She told you that's it.
Yeah. So I lived 2 years in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Yes,
Wow.
I was part of the Reserve Training Officer Corps in the
Yeah.
Army, and
Yeah.
that's another
RTC,
ROTC.
yeah.
And then I came here in Miami since 1976. So I became a tree.
Yeah.
Why I became a tree? Because you get
You
roots.
planted your roots and yeah, you grew.
So
I love that.
So I have been here in Miami for some time, and
It's interesting that for me because I'm a son of immigrants too, a grandson of immigrants. I mean, my father's from Laos. My mom's side is mostly Italian, a little German, a little Irish in there, but mostly Italian. But so I have a lot of those stories as well. I'm the first generation basically here, or second generation, I should say, technically here. Actually, maybe I'm the third technically. So if I'm thinking about my mom's side, but my father had a similar story. He's from Laos. The war was going on, and he ended up going through Europe first. It was in France, then London. Then he came to the United States, and then when he became a citizen, he wanted to give back and went into the Army as well. So I ended up growing up in Italy, which you know about. So when I was 2, like similar to you, my sister was 1. We moved to Italy. My dad was just getting out of the Army and was then going into the reserves, but he was working for the Department of Defense. So some of those bases you might be thinking about referring to in the aviation side. So Aviano Air Force Base in Italy was next to the base in Vicenza where I grew up, which was the Army outpost. It's a garrison today, whatever you want to call it. There's different iterations, but so I understand.
Familiar.
Yeah. So I grew up in Italy, and my parents always wanted us to be immersed in the culture, so we lived off base. So I really grew up in Italy. I didn't live on base. We traveled to go onto base and things like that. I went to Italian preschool, all that. So pretty similar in that sense. And then we moved back here. My grandparents were here. My family was here on both sides, and then came back here just turning 12. So about 9 years or so. So but going back to the aviation side of it too. I've always been obsessed with planes my whole life too.
I love it.
I can sit and watch, but for me, it sounds so simple. But even as a boy, it's basically that gigantic piece of steel flying through the air. To me, I understand the mechanics now. I understand the engineering. I understand, but my whole life I've been, just.
And the day that you get into the flight components of the airplane, you're
even
going
more.
to be more enchanted with.
I'm sure.
The industry.
Now it's just especially living in New York for so long, being down here. I mean, even going to the Caribbean, go to St. Martin, you can sit on the beach and watch the planes. Or you could throw sand at the plane when it flies over you and lands.
I love
a great
to fly.
place. Yeah,
I love to fly.
yeah, that's great. I love it. I love it. I don't know if there's a plane big enough for me to fly yet, but we'll see. Just one of those little prop planes. But it's such an interesting background. So aviation, and you have an MBA, business administration. So the business side, you're obviously we talked about it with your family, and so today, with all the accolades that I just described before, tell me about your business. I want to talk about your business, the Enterprise Group Corporation, what you guys do. How you can help your clients, and let's get into that a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have part of our company, which, by the way, stands for the initials of my name, Ernesto G. Cuesta.
Yeah.
Enterprise Group Corporation.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't know.
That was something. Again,
EDC.
EGC,
Yeah.
right. So under, we do manufacture.
Okay.
We do sporting good and home care products.
Okay.
We do management and consulting. We do residential and commercial shopping centers,
Huh?
and we provide services to that. We're very strong in Jacksonville, by the way, and in Atlanta. And locally here, I'm very involved, do a lot of consulting also in residential and commercial as well.
Yeah.
Investments also in real estate. Our concept is not to place all the eggs in one basket.
Very well
Diversify yourself.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, GlobalPro is an example of diversification,
Diversify,
in my
yeah.
opinion.
You're sitting
In my opinion.
in another diversification, business here.
So we respect specialization,
Okay.
but I think diversification is in our
Yeah.
DNA,
Yeah.
and it has been good. And insurance.
Yes.
We got into
Yes,
insurance
you're touring,
business in 2018,
Okay.
life, annuity, and health. That was actually it was my first license in insurance.
Oh wow. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so I have a 215 license too.
215. That's right. Yeah, it was on everybody. So.
And then I got my
Interesting.
220.
Yeah. So you gotta get to the sixes. You can get adjusting license.
Eventually, real estate.
Yeah.
Probably will be
Yeah.
a broker. I
Yeah.
think that since we deal with
So
real estate.
so you have your LCAM too. So you're
have
a
my
licensed
LCAM too.
community association manager as
Yes,
well. So
yes, I do.
it really encompasses what you just said, which is
Right.
the diversification of your
Right.
business, right?
Right.
Your entire portfolio there, which
Right.
is pretty impressive again.
Right.
And so it sounds like a lot of that is also built on all of your passions. We were talking about passion before, right?
I live based about life is about passion.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you do in life, you have to like it and enjoy it, and see the results.
Yeah.
I love to see results. And when I see the results, I feel it much better and give me more energy to continue.
Of course, yeah.
So it is like a vitamin.
Yeah.
You wake up every day with an idea, a concept, and then you try to develop that concept through the day.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is to make somebody else's life happier.
I love that. Yeah. And you get that itch. You have to go. You have to go do it. You have to go do it. You have to go do it. So I love that a lot. I mean, ultimately at GlobalPro, you know how we do things. You know the performance, the success that we've had here for our associations and business owners and everyone that we serve. And it's the same thing for us. We're very passionate about defending their rights, about making sure that they recover what they're legally owed, the benefits of their policy that they've paid for. This is the stuff that drives us here. And that's that passion. Hopefully is conveyed through everything that we do, our marketing, the way we approach the adjustment process, the way we approach our classes that we like to teach, like the lunch and learns and the CE classes that we have. It's all about the passion. There's no way to build all of that without wanting to either give the knowledge away, help people with that knowledge, right? Give it away to people that want to know about it, and then obviously serve the folks that we can. So I love that. We're very aligned there, and so I think that's again why I think we're such good friends so far. And let's dig into more of the management side of the real estate portion. So what's interesting to me is that you've seen me talk. You've been to several of our events. I've seen you talk several times. And there's always one common theme that you bring up in all the talks. And that is MRI. So one of the first things you said to me when you came in today was it's an ongoing conversation that we have. I feel like every time we see each other. But there's something coming. There's an inflection point here where maybe we already are in the full swing of it, or I don't know. But the association world here, after the last couple of years of all the the amendments, the legislative changes, the updates to the statutes, that might not be so good for the market in general. I think we're starting to see it already. MRI is kind of the foundation of how you address folks that are asking, well, what should we do? MRI is what you should do, and I'll let you get into that in a second. But the other side to that is what might happen, I think, is more important. And that's, again, something I think you championed and started to talk about early. And when I go to these talks and I see different law firms and different vendors or other businesses in talks, they're starting to talk about it now, and that's the condo termination word. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see a lot more of that, especially down here after the market that we've had. But let's start with MRI. What is MRI? And let's relate that to
tell you what, we came up with this concept about close to 2 years ago.
Okay, all right.
We saw this coming.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I don't know if Haber Law. David Haber is our legal counsel for Brickell Homeowners Association. And in one of the presentations that we have made not long ago, we talk about MRI. Well, we have been talking about MRI for some time now, and that really hit, the nerves.
Yeah.
Because people start picking up. I think a little bit late. I'll be honest with you.
Unfortunately,
I think we're late. We're late in the game.
Yeah. And because the legislative changes happen too fast.
The thing is the following, that people have the tendency of not paying attention to politics. And sometimes we concentrate ourselves either in national politics or local politics.
Yeah.
But they're forgetting something, that our politics in the state, regulations and laws, are based in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
It's state laws.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that we have been looking for.
Yeah.
And those are we have been following up.
Yeah. Very true.
Always.
Very true.
And we saw this coming. And so going back to MRI, maintenance, reserves, and insurance. If you look at those three items, actually those three items that are affecting associations. But there is nothing new here. I think that the legislature, as a matter of fact, yesterday I went to an association meeting, one of my clients.
Yeah.
And they approved. They didn't waive the reserves, which I think is very wise.
Yeah.
And something that they had not done for maybe 30 years. 30 years or so, they have been waiving reserves.
Yeah.
And it's a property close to the beach. I mean, salt, winds, you name it.
Humidity, yeah, everything.
And the thing is the following, is that if you don't invest in your property, if you don't save, if you don't do appropriate maintenance and repairs, your property is going to be devalued. And the thing is the following, now they realize that next year, talking about as of January 1st, 2025, all these new regulations, you cannot waive reserves any longer.
Yep.
After the pandemic, labor expenses have increased, raw material have increased.
Yep.
And all of these things are adding up, contributing to the tsunami that we're at. The tsunami is here already.
Yeah. I would agree. I think people either don't want to know or don't want to see it, don't want to hear it, but
and they are, I call it now that we are in a denial phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the denial phase is going to become a nightmare in 2024. If you analyze, I like to analyze things. I like to study markets. As a matter of fact, that's part of being a broker. That's part of being in real estate.
Yeah.
That's been part of the sales associate in real estate. you have to analyze the trends of the market.
Yeah, of course.
People that they look after their investments, you see a trend of selling that started like at the end of last year, is picking up this year, and it's going to continue. I do project that it's going to be a buyer's market soon.
If not already.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also we are projecting that there are going to be a lot of condo terminations. That's another concept that we.
David and Podium and I had a discussion. We talked about that, but explain that to everybody. What a condo termination is?
Condo termination is the process of terminating a condo through the state of Florida and allowing the condo to enter into a negotiations with the developer or investor to sell actually the
property.
The property.
So the interesting thing is that and that's the end result, and all these things that we talked about all the time lead up to naturally getting to there because of this inflection point or this you call like a tsunami, a wave that's coming.
Nothing in life lasts forever.
The tree doesn't grow forever. Yeah.
And there are two things that I learned from my grandmother that you cannot go against it. That is Mother Nature and progress.
Yep.
If you go against Mother Nature and progress, you will fail.
Interesting. Yeah.
And you have to adjust yourself to changes.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever. And changes are good.
Yeah.
The only thing is that they are calculated risk and uncalculated risk. That is a big difference.
Yeah, of course.
And you have to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
It's like you prepare yourself when you accumulate age. Not that you get older, you accumulate age.
Yeah, you're wiser, hopefully.
And in that process, you have to prepare yourself because there is one point in time in your life that you don't have the same energy, you don't have the same health. It's part of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And business is like that.
Business is cyclical, and it depends on the timing.
You cannot continue doing or practice something in business the same practice that you were doing 30 years or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You have to bring new energy. You have to bring new blood into any business.
Yeah.
New techniques, new dynamics. And if you don't do that, you get stagnated and you fail.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
The longest living, biggest corporations in the world are always changing, right? You got to change with the times.
Why is it that we're in business?
Yeah.
We are in business because we want to make profit.
Yeah.
We are not in business to lose money. I'm sorry, but
that's right.
Economics.
That's right.
101.
Yep. So you have to adapt.
You can control expenses, but you cannot control sales.
Right. No, very true. Very true. And so that shifts the dynamic in the market right away, right? And I think that's.
And it's not about fear. I mean, people might say, well,
that's psychology behind
it. No, it is reality.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is reality. Something that you have to be fiscally responsible.
Yep. You have to be prudent.
And especially when you're in a condo business, it's not only your investment; it's many people's investment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a collective in an association. I think people forget that, unfortunately. And the boards that you're used to dealing with, the same boards that I'm used to talking to and dealing with, oftentimes you get some folks that just living in a condo association is probably not the best for them because they don't get it.
No.
So. And we've talked about that actually, a couple of times here and there about the different dynamic, right? The different relationship that is. But I think that's a great segue also into kind of the next step. So if this is the picture of the landscape moving forward, what changes that? What happens? Is it that the interest rate environment totally changes? The legislative environment, I feel like swung so far to one way, and it has to come back to the middle or go a little bit further to.
I think that the state legislature is going to remain. I don't think there are going to be any changes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
That's what we see.
Yeah.
I don't think that. We, as a matter of fact, before the end of this legislature session, I tried to reach out to the Senate key members.
Yeah.
We tried, as a matter of fact, we attempted to expand the period of 2025 to 3 more years
Okay.
to see. I mean, to give more
Time, yeah.
to educate more people,
Yeah.
to make them aware,
Yeah.
to help them to wake up to
Yeah.
reality. And the message was that we got back was that the answer was that there was no appetite to make changes.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's just the timing thing.
And I do understand.
Yeah.
I do understand. I
Yeah.
think that Champlain Towers was the iceberg
Yeah.
of the situation.
So and everyone has to react to it. Obviously, when that happens,
And,
you have to do something.
Unfortunately, that had to happen.
Yeah.
But there's things
Actually,
in life
that-
that happen for a reason.
That's
you
a
know?
great point, because I think
Yeah.
the one thing that we also talk about a lot, and we talked about this morning a little bit, which is even though that happened, you still have associations that aren't reserving properly. They're not maintaining their
As of
buildings.
today,
Yeah, that's right now.
they're
It's happening right
voting
now.
to have waived
Yeah.
to waive the reserves
Even though it's
this
the law.
coming year.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that if they continue waiving, let's say you're postponing. Listen, you're postponing someone that is dying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean it's inevitable.
Because if you don't pay, let's say that you are, in order to pick up with the reserves this year, for example, you need to contribute to your reserves this year per unit.
You have to assess. You have to do something.
$2,000.
Yeah, you have to get it.
2025, you will not have that choice.
Yeah.
So instead of contributing $2,000, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's going to be $6 or $8 or more $1,000 that you will have by no
3 or 4
choice
times more.
to pay
Yeah.
next year.
And we're not even getting into, that's just the reserves. What about any repairs? We haven't even gotten into
Maintenance, repairs.
the rest of it, right?
I mean,
the
it
business
is
has to
like
continue.
Insurance.
Yeah.
I mean, when people says, for example, yesterday was an accountant this particular meeting that says, well, legislature has not done nothing. I disagree with that. I disagree, totally disagree with that.
Okay.
Insurance has got, I think in a sense they got a little bit greedy, okay? But also, if you think about it, I mean, the mentality of some associations or boards is that, okay, we have a claim. Well, whatever we're getting out of that claim is going to be a profit for us or a surplus in our fund. Run.
But you got to repair the damage.
Claims,
Yeah.
claims. When you have a claim,
Yeah.
number one, it's by the law. It
Yeah.
says it's in black and white.
Yeah.
When you have a claim and you get funding from that claim,
Right, you got to cover, yeah.
that is to repair
Yeah.
or to replenish the
Yeah.
funds that you had spent.
Repair, replace,
Not
yeah.
that you're going to have a profit out of it.
Yeah, no, you're not. That's
But that's a wrong mentality.
You're not supposed to unjustly enrich yourself in general. That's the
That-
law,
that
right?
is a
But
wrong
when
mentality.
you have a claim, yes, it's not to make profit.
That's a wrong mentality.
The claim is to make sure that, again, you're getting the legally owed benefit of the policy you're paying a premium for,
Right.
to repair or replace whatever loss or damage, physical property that you have or whatever it is,
So in this process, what happened is that between claims, maybe a little bit of a greedy from insurance companies, most of them left the state. So we are dealing with 3 cuts, 4 cuts, something like that. I mean,
Yeah,
when I
the
say
home-
3
on
or
the
4
home-
cuts,
on-
only,
Yeah, on the
major
homeowner
companies.
side, and then the commercial side is
And
left.
then-
There's consolidation
So
that's
the
happening.
market, the market is very close.
Yeah.
I mean, business are about, is about having a competition.
Yeah.
When you don't have that competition, what is it you have? You have like a monopoly.
Yeah. You're just shifting at this point. There's no competition on price and things like that.
I mean,
despite
it is
they
what it
might
is.
say,
And
yeah.
then the other side of the coin, then there is a fight there between politicians and consumers about who is representing best, the consumers in insurance issues.
Mhm.
Well, I tell you what, an insurance appraiser, an insurance adjuster is not going to represent the best interest of the consumer.
They're not hired by them, right? They don't represent them, yeah? That's right.
The best representative of the consumer's interests are public adjusters. I'm
Yep.
sorry to say that.
Yep.
And I think that we discussed this, I believe, last week, that we talked about it when the CFO came here, the state CFO came here.
At the LBA luncheon, yeah? Jimmy Petronas.
And during that interaction, we discussed, I mean, you and I brought it to your attention. I knew you know this, probably this data, that how many complaints were made last year to the state of Florida for against insurance companies, over 100,000. To be precise, 109,000. How many complaints were made against public adjusters? 99. And most, I will say 80 of those 99 complaints were administrative. They were not that they were stealing, or they were administrative errors.
That's right. That's right.
So you can see, I mean, going in, I think that the public is hungry for information and to be educated in issues.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most important functions of the Brickell Homeowners Association.
Yeah.
To educate homeowners.
Yeah.
And the public. Education is everything.
And the
information is everything.
And the volume of opportunity for someone in the Brickell area to come learn from the BHA is, I mean, you guys are always doing.
But we need to expand that.
Even more, okay.
We need to expand that, and that's why you mentioned before the pandemic, we established the Urban Core Community Coalition.
Yeah.
Meaning all neighborhoods along the urban core.
Yep.
So including, BHA, DNA, BNA, all of those organizations, and any other. We want to include.
Yeah.
Most, and eventually, a league of cities will be included in our plans.
Yeah.
To grow this concept.
It's better to be aligned, right? It's better to have a common goal and try to fight for that.
The more people are informed, the more people are united with the voice. Every neighborhood has their own dynamics, their own characteristics, their own DNA. But at the end, we are part of the community.
Yeah.
And how we had said before, we want you to succeed. Because if you succeed, we're going to do better.
Yeah.
If you don't do good well in your business, it's going to affect my investments.
Of course.
My investments are going to be devalued.
Yep. Yep.
I need this community to be successful in every sense of aspect.
Yeah.
Transportation, health services, economic development, pro-development. We are pro-development, by the way. Yeah. The only difference is, not a difference, the only requirement for us to support developers is for them to preserve the quality of life of the residents around and to contribute to the beautification of the area.
Yeah. And there's many ways for them to do that.
To say that you are against the developers, that's being naive.
Well, to your grandmother's point, that's going against, right?
I mean, that's not part of economics 101.
Right.
When I hear these people that are
going against progress
and trying to get elected, saying, we going against the developers, I said that is ignorance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is ignorance.
Yeah. I mean, that's we would agree there. At the end of the day, you have to have progress. You have to move forward. You have to keep moving forward.
You cannot go against progress.
And if you can pull everybody with you, that would be the goal, obviously, right? I mean, in general, right? From a 30,000 foot overview, that's we definitely agree on that. And so what's interesting is that let's stick with the development side, because I think one of the things that I didn't know about, which you've been pretty involved with, is over near the Baccarat site, where they have the archaeologists over there digging through the site, and they found some historic things over there, obviously, and they want to preserve all that. And I know you were involved in those discussions.
Yes,
and we're
still involved in those.
How's that coming along? What's going on over there?
It's coming along. I think that listen, we have been partners. We are partners of every single developer in the Miami area.
Yeah.
And you have to.
Yeah.
You have to sit down and negotiate.
Bring everybody to the table.
Example, JDS. They're doing a beautiful development close to, next to Southside Park. We helped to save Southside Park many years ago.
Okay.
1985.
Wow.
The city of Miami was going to donate the park to a non-profit organization. So, it was Southside Park, I'll give you that as an example. It is adjacent to Southside Elementary. And you know what we did? I got 3 yellow school buses, filled them up with the kids, took them to City Hall with the kids, and said, you cannot donate the park.
Yeah.
We help to preserve the park. that park is there. Now, by helping JDS in the in the project, they're going to redevelop and do a beautification on the park.
Yeah.
You see, that's the type of negotiations that we get involved.
Good. Yeah. Yeah.
You gain, you don't lose.
Yeah. Keep moving forward. Yeah.
And we're going to continue keeping the park, same thing that we did in 1985, but in a different dynamic, in a different phase.
Yeah. So
because that's the way it should be.
So there's always an option. There's always a way to get to a middle
options.
ground.
They always, to be confrontational and frictional doesn't get you anywhere.
That's something you told me. Yeah, we talked about this. You told me all about your perception of
does not
negotiations.
get you anywhere.
That's right. That's right. You want to get to a middle
it's
ground.
not your way, it's not my way, but you have to reach a middle point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what is the best for you, and what is the best for me?
That's right. That's right.
That's what life is all about.
Let's find common ground. Yeah.
That's part of business.
Yeah.
That's part of diplomacy. That's part of foreign policies.
That's right. That's right. I love that. I love that. So, okay, great. Thank you. I mean, this was very, very informative. I think we touched on all those different spots. The last thing we'll talk about a little bit is because it's a fun part of the discussion as well. Real Madrid fan, very, very, very strong, very ardent Real Madrid fan.
The best thing in the world.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry. I mean,
well, Real Madrid and Mustangs, I think too. Those are
and the Mustang.
Yeah, the Mustangs.
The Mustang. Yeah, the Mustang. The best.
Yeah.
The best built car in America.
That's it. That's it. I love it.
That's.
So hopefully, I think the new Mustangs are going to be coming out here soon. I heard the design is pretty cool. I've seen some pictures here.
They are very nice. Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Love it. I love it. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully you had a great time. You're a pro at this. You told me this is not your first rodeo.
I'm telling you, when I grew up, I want to be like you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. When I grow up, I want to be like you. How about that? So we have two examples of what we want to do when we grow up. So, but thank you very much. I appreciate the time today. If you guys found this helpful, informative, please subscribe. Please follow us on social media. Please, send us questions. Reach out to us. DM us if you want to be a guest on our show. Also, please let us know. We're always looking for, folks to come on and talk to us and tell us about what's going on in real estate, business, and insurance. Ultimately, though, remember, we try to educate everybody. We try to inform everybody, and certainly try to update everybody. And that's the goal of our show at the end of the day. And so, ultimately, if your association, your business, or your home, if you suffer loss or damage, of course, always call us first. We have a ton of information, a ton of ways to help you out. The team is very, very, prepared and ready to jump at any moment to help out all of our clients. And those would be community associations. If you're a business owner, if you're a private client or family office, if you're home, homeowner, or even if you're an investor, and you own and operate multiple properties, we're always here to help. So. Thank you again, Ernesto. This was great.
Thank you.
Join us next week right here at the Griffin Studio at the Nucleus Hub. Same time, same GlobalPro channel. We hope to to see you soon. Again, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and send us a DM. Send us some questions here. All right. Take care. See you next time. Thank you.
Take care.